Hi everyone, my name is Kevin Wilson, Director of Community Relations at the Mental Health Association, for this week's Wellness Wednesday. This week I want to talk about one of the most destructive myths about mental illness, and that's that people with mental illnesses are prone to violence. And this is particularly destructive because it changes the way people behave and approach mental health. It causes people to be afraid of people who have a mental illness. It causes people to be afraid of going to seek treatment for mental illness because of the stigma associated with mental illness and violence. And that's not okay. And I want to read off a little bit of information from mentalhealth.gov about violence and mental illness. And their myth is people with mental health problems are violent and unpredictable. And obviously that's not true. And reading from that, the vast majority of people with mental health problems are no more likely to be violent than anyone else. Most people with mental illness are not more violent, and only 3 to 5% of violent acts can be attributed to individuals living with a serious mental illness. In fact, people with severe mental illnesses are over 10 times more likely to be victims of violent crime than the general population. You probably know someone with a mental health problem and don't realize it because many people with mental health problems are highly active and productive members of their communities. So that's one of the big myths. And there's another statistic, and this one's from Mental Health America, that says that 95 to 97% of gun violence is not caused by mental illness. And again, it shows that mental illness and violence are not necessarily connected, that you can have a mental illness and not be prone to violence. But again, this is one of those destructive myths that we need to be proactive about correcting and destroying in our contemporary culture. People with mental illnesses are not more prone to violence than anyone else, and in fact are more likely to be victims of violence than the general population. It's been Kevin Wilson with this week's Wellness Wednesday. Make sure you follow us on our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/MHA Rochester, on Twitter at MHA Rochester, and of course visit our website at mharochester.org. Again, this is Kevin Wilson with this week's Wellness Wednesday. Thank you for joining me.